we're gonna go live for the Liverpool match and then Arsenal match. So we already know the Liverpool have won two matches with two, and Arsenal also two matches with two. So we really don't know who's gonna win it tonight. But it's been a very fascinating APL for the past weekend. So from the Saturday to the Sunday, now to the Monday, it's been very good. So before we start the watch along stuff and everything, we need to talk more about the weekend matches. So back, how have you been for the weekend match starting from Saturday? How has been your feelings about the weekend match? Who are you tipping to win the league? And do you think it's too early just to predict the winner, who's gonna win the league, or we just have to wait till like December, January to see who's gonna win the league?
No, I don't think it's too early. We all know Liverpool's going to win it, right? So, yeah, it's obviously going to be Liverpool, isn't it?
But do you think Liverpool is gonna slip up a little at some point? They will slip up. But are you still giving it to Liverpool despite you being a Man City fan? Are you still gonna be like, let me just give it to Liverpool?
I mean, obviously, I want us to win the league, but after what I saw yesterday, I don't think anyone's going to challenge Liverpool again this season. I just don't see any Premier League team having the consistency to keep up with them over the over the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, even if Arsenal win here tonight, they're not gonna challenge Liverpool, are they?
I
They're not
don't
gonna
think
get
so, but the way
they're not
Arsenal
gonna
has
get
been,
fourth.
but the way Arsenal has been playing though, you could say they could easily challenge. But look at the way they've been playing. You can't just write them up and just say they won't be able to challenge. We have to. Ateta has been doing a very fantastic job. That's what we need to understand. Arsenal
Uh,
has been doing a very fantastic job.
let's see what happens tonight then, because if they
Mm-hmm.
get a result, then you never know. But I doubt
Mm-hmm.
it.
Exactly. So welcome in offside. How you doing?
So hi, good evening everybody. Or I don't know, it's
Mhm.
evening where I
Yeah.
am. Good afternoon everybody, wherever you are.
How you
Um,
doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well, but I could be better. I've been
Mm-hmm.
better, following the Chelsea game, shocking result last weekend. But then you just talked about Arsenal, and I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you that as much as it hurts, Arteta has done a better job than Frank Lampard, even
Mm-hmm.
in a shorter period of time. He has
Yep.
achieved more, and he has shown that it seems like he knows what he's doing. You can see the change,
Mm-hmm.
in the squad, the mentality of the squad and everything.
Yep.
He's not afraid to drop players and everything. So kudos to him. And from the beginning, I remember it was at the beginning of this year, calendar year, that he joined. And
Mm-hmm.
initially, what he started doing first of all was to reduce, how much goals they conceded compared
Yep.
to when the previous manager was there. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
making the point that people said, "No, is that the same as um, winning games
Unai
and
Emery.
getting points?" Or I think
Mm-hmm.
up until April or
Mm-hmm.
March, sorry, before the break, before the coronavirus, the pandemic break,
Mm-hmm.
they had not lost any game in this calendar year
Yep.
before the break. Yes, and it was credit to the work he was doing. And now he went on to win the FA Cup, and here we are. Hopefully this night, I hope they beat Liverpool. I want them to beat Liverpool.
Don't we all?
Sorry.
But go for it, Pat. Go for it. Go for it.
Don't we all want them to win? But don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen though. Like.
Arsenal are now a more disciplined side. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect Liverpool to score, an array of goals and all that as we're used to seeing them doing. Even if Liverpool were to win, maybe a 1-0 score line or 2-1 or something. But I expect Arsenal to put up a fight, to be competitive.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's too early to just predict that he's gonna win. We have to give them time to see how good they can be because we look at this Arsenal side and we look at the rest of the team. Yes, they've been winning two wins in a row, like back to back wins. Understood. But if you look at other teams like United, Man City, and this kind of it takes them time to gel because of the hero they've played and everything. But we can't just because they've won now. I cannot beat out my chest and say Arsenal is gonna win the league. Like never, I will not because there's still gonna be a lot of slip up in the road. So we have to just give them till like December, January, February. That's when I'm gonna judge all the team, all the EPL team, all of them. Not even my club, but everybody. That's when I'm gonna judge them because at the moment I won't judge at the moment because it's too early to judge. Way too early. Just 3 matches is too early to judge.
I don't know what you mean by judging, but we're just assessing based on the way things have been. And my
Yep.
assessment of Arteta is not solely based on the 2 games that have been played, the 3 games he has played so far this season. Even though those 3 games were a testament to the work he has been doing and continuation of where they ended last season. Yes, they may not have gotten into the Champions League places, but remember where they were
Yep.
at the time he took the job. Remember how
Yep.
bad they were at the time he took the job, and gradually he kept on building the side. Arteta has done well. The fact that we're even commenting about them having a chance against Liverpool shows that he has actually done well compared to where they were before he joined them.
Exactly. He has done so well.
I'm not
And look at
judging, I'm just assessing. Even though I
but
won't be
look at the
surprised if he
signings he
does
has
better than
signed.
Lampard.
Those signings he has signed also make a lot of impact for him also. Those signings, like Gabriel and those kind of they really make a huge lot of difference for it's in defense, the kind of way they concede goal and everything. Yes, it's good also, but let's talk about the from the starting from the weekend matches. United versus Brighton over and Bournemouth. So like it was 2-2 before the 90 minutes finished. So let me bring in offside first. It was already full time before the referee blow the final whistle for the penalty. Do you think it was justified for them to for the VAR to come in after the match, or it was just exactly how it should be?
Hello?
Yeah, I said let's start from the weekend match, from the United
Yes.
Brighton matches.
Yeah,
It
the
was the
penalty.
full time when the referee blew the whistle. So and after the full time, the VAR reviewed there was an handball in between a Brighton player. So do you think it was justified for them blowing the whistle, or it was just like it what it is? You can't be doing the kind of stuff when the match
Well,
starts.
all those things are part of what we've seen um, that have come with the review of the IFAB rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them we may not agree with, we may not like because it may be ruining the game and
Mm-hmm.
may bring up this kind of controversial conversations
Yeah.
that may suggest that certain sides are being favored over the others. But this is something that we saw 2 seasons ago in Germany. I can't remember the 2 clubs that were involved, but it happened in the Bundesliga.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that one was at halftime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we do know is that based on the new rules of the game, the referee can call players back onto the pitch to even give a red card or a penalty, as we saw in that game involving Manchester United. So it's not something I totally agree with because I don't know at which point where it ends. Is it till maybe 5 minutes after the game or till the players leave the stadium?
Immediately after the game, the VAR will review the match. There was an handball for the corner kick, so the referee has to go to the monitor and
Now the question you would ask is, how did the ref? Because when these things happen, usually immediately the VAR will start reviewing the footage.
Mane has scored. Liverpool has scored.
Oh wow!
It was a save.
Is it safe?
He saved it. What minute? What minute of the game you're on?
Oh, I'm on 14 minutes.
No,
I thought
he saved it. It was a good save.
Okay. Continue, offside. Continue.
Yeah. So I was saying, ideally, when these controversial moments in the game happen, immediately they happen, the VAR starts reviewing it from where they are. What I don't understand is why they couldn't whisper, because they are constantly in communication with the center referee. I don't understand why they couldn't, talk to the ref in his ears, using the talk back, the whatever.
The microphone.
System. Yeah, the microphone. Whatever. Why they couldn't directly communicate to him that they were reviewing a certain incident, right?
I think the problem
and that way he wouldn't have ended the game. Because all these things take seconds. Do you get? That way he wouldn't have ended the game. Maybe he would have just let them continue playing. And then by the time they decide this is why this thing should happen fast, he'll now stop the play and go back to that review. And then after which, when he makes a decision, he can now blow for full time. I don't understand why he had to blow for full time before the VAR now told him that this so and so was needed to be reviewed. It just makes a mess of the whole thing.
I think the problem was the referee already blew the final whistle after the corner kick was already taken. So Harry Maguire had to complain to the referee that the ball hit a player and a Brighton player hand before the referee blew a sign whistle. But the referee said he didn't see it. So the VR bring out the referee back again and talk to him through the microphone that he needs to see himself. He needs to go back to the monitor and see the incident himself before he make a decision. Then the referee went back after he already blew the final whistle, went back and checked the monitor and saw the handball. Then he gave a penalty. So, Pat, do you think the penalty was justified for United, or just because of it was a VR rules it should be given?
I mean, you guys said it all there. Really, like the final whistle was blew. Like the game was over. It's like there was no way they should have brought it back, but it's United, so no surprise.
Because there has been too many controversy about the VR this, VR that, VR that, and I really don't want to dive into the too much into VR because it's been too many controversial because of the rules has been changed since the summertime. So I think for me, we need to give it time before everything could go into places. I understand people's perspective about the VR stuff and VR that and VR. I completely understand, but I think what we need to do is we need to calm down about the rules because the rules have just been changed this summer. It's been implemented this summer. So if the rules is not being implemented, then they will say there's going to be a problem. But it has been implemented. So we need to understand that the people, both the referee and the score, the what's called the center referee and the VR people, they are already watching the match. So we need to give them time for everything to be processed, so the people can understand how the rules is being played and how everything works. So
yeah, you're spot on.
So I think the second match was the Crystal Palace Everton. So my question to you guys is: do you see Everton going all the way, or it's just too early?
I think it's way too early. Like I don't think they can keep this up throughout the entire season, but you never know. Got a good side.
It's too early. I think it's way too early. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There are lots of things. There's the squad depth that comes into play.
Yeah.
And there's a part where experience would come into play. Quality, of course. Let's not take away anything from Carlo Ancelotti. Rodriguez has come in and he's doing well and carrying the side. What happens when he gets injured? Let's not forget how injury prone he is. If they build their team around just one guy, remember the bulk of the team is still, what they've had in the past couple of seasons. Talented players, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But James Rodriguez seems to be running everything from the center at the moment. Yeah. But then again, I expect them to, push to make it into the top 4 places. That's my expectation. I don't know if they would go all the way. I can't speak for that right now. But sorry, before there was something I felt maybe we might want to talk about. We talked about VAR and officiating and stuff. I don't know what you guys think about the new handball rule.
I was about to talk
lots of controversy in the Premier League now.
A lot. I think, like what I had yesterday when I was watching the match, and also according to what people have been saying, the IFAB himself has already changed the handball rules. He said it has to be a distance in which the ball could touch your hand. If your hand is at the back, if you are jumping and your hand is at the back, and the ball touches your hand, it's not a penalty. And if an opposition play the ball into you, and maybe someone just knocked the ball to your hand and it's at the back, and a goal was scored, it's not an handball. It's gonna count as a goal. But if you are jumping and your hand is in the front, like something you intentionally did, and the ball hits you in your hand, that's a clear penalty. No argument about that. So the interpretation of the handball rule is a little bit confusing. So everybody needs to understand how the handball rule is being played before we could just say this is how it's done, this is how it's done. Based on what I read, that is what I know, based on what I read. Because I watched the Chelsea match, the ball hit Timo Werner first before it hit Kai Havertz in his hand. So Kai Havertz's hand was at the back. His hand was at the back. So when the ball hit his hand, he hit his shoulder and his hand and it came down. So then the defender cleared it. When the defender cleared it, then Mason Mount hit the ball and the goalkeeper pushed and Abraham scored. So there was a distance. There was a distance in which the ball hit Kai Havertz's hand. That was what the IPAB was saying, that if there's a distance in between the players and the ball.
How distance of what? That's the question. Because all these things are subject to interpretation. And the decisions are made supposedly. VAR is supposed to help them not to make it a split second. At least have a clearer picture. honestly, the Chelsea one, I'm surprised they didn't rule out the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at what happened with Tottenham against was it Crystal Palace? Tottenham
No,
against
what Newcastle?
Newcastle, yes,
Mm.
that even the coach was not Newcastle coach wasn't very happy about.
Yeah.
It was a player that nodded it into the hands of the Tottenham player,
Mm-hmm.
and then they called for a penalty.
Yeah.
So going by the interpretation you're giving, that was
Yeah.
what actually made me say this. So it seems like every single time things tend. I don't even know, because there are times when the ball hits the arms of a defender, sometimes it's a penalty. When it hits the arms of the striker, the goal is overruled.
Yeah.
Do you get? So the question now is, it's not consistent, and I agree with the Premier League referees coaches, sorry, that have actually said we should revert to what we're used to, the ball to hand, hand to ball thing. It's easier to interpret, and
Yeah.
even though there would always be disagreements and
Controversy. Yeah.
controversies, at least it will be better than what we are currently seeing.
Yeah.
This is messing up the game. Is messing up the game big time.
Yeah, I think it has to be fixed. One way or the other, the controversy has to be fixed. But there's no way there won't be controversy because of the handball rules and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the problem is what IFAB needs to understand is they need to give a clear explanation about the handball rule. Once it's been cleared, I think the controversy will stop. But it's not been cleared now. That's the problem because IFAB himself has not given a clear what's called a clear explanation.
Interpretation.
Mhm. About what is going on.
But wait, one thing I don't understand is, why does this seem more consistent in the Premier League? We rarely ever hear of this kind of controversies in other leagues. I mean, top leagues.
I think the problem is not the VR. I think the problem is the referees and the way they
That means it's
interpret.
not IFAB. It's not down to IFAB then.
Yeah, it's not down to IFAB. IFAB already said the rules already. The rules has already been set by IFAB already. So it's not about
Uh-huh.
IFAB. It's about the referees and the way they interpret the what's called the VR.
Mm.
The way they interpreted it. It's not about IFAB. It's not about IFAB. I think it's the way they interpreted the rules. It's not about IFAB. The rules are already set already. It's about the referee themselves and the English referee themselves and the interpretation of the VR. If you look at this, La Liga, the Bundesliga, it is different. Even the Champions League and the Europa League is very different there.
Yes, it rarely
Mhm.
happens. You see referees just go to the pitch side monitor, the review, and then they call they make the call immediately. But the Premier League seems overstretched, complicated. I don't know if that's part of the plan, to continue to put the Premier League in the news. Maybe it's part of the marketing strategy. Do you
I don't
understand?
think so. I think
Because when
the
these
problem.
controversies are happening,
Mhm,
you keep talking about the Premier League.
mhm. Exactly. I think the problem is the referee themselves. The English referee doesn't really know. They don't understand
It's
how
one
the rule
0
is 1-0. Yes.
It's Lacazette with a goal.
Like I said, score. I think is it an offside?
That was a horrible mistake from, I think it was Robertson, the defender. So
Oh,
it
like
can't
I
be
said,
Oh,
offside.
nice.
like I said, scored. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'm not sure if it's gonna count. And probably think it's an offside. I'm not sure
Oh, we're about to
because
find out.
VR is reviewing it.
All right.
I'm not sure. I need to see the replay. I need to see the replay. I think it's an offside. It's an offside. I think it won't stand. It's an offside. It won't stand. It won't. I'm not sure. It's 50-50 though. Because the ball hit Robertson first
Yeah,
before
it's
it
not
like
offside because it hit the defender. And
yeah,
he wasn't
but
even in an offside position when the pass was made. Yeah, it's a
Lacazette
goal.
was already standing in an offside position. I'm
They
not
gave it.
sure.
It's a goal.
But they gave it as a goal. They gave it, yeah. Oh,
Brilliant.
they gave it. Wow. So like what we were saying, I think is the interpretation of the English referee, the way they interpret it. I think that's the problem. The way they interpreted them, the what's called the rules. That's the issue. It's not about the IFAB. IFAB already said the rules already. It's already been set already. The problem is the English referee and the VR, how it's been implemented in EPL. That has been the issues for me.
Yeah, you're spot on.
Mm-hmm. That has been the issue for me. So I think the next one should be the West Bromwich Albion Chelsea. Firstly, I really don't know where to start, but I think I'm gonna start it this way. For me, the first half wasn't something I don't want. I'm proud to talk about because that was a shambolic display from the first half. It's not even shambolic. It's like I just don't know. It's like a PlayStation when you are playing the FIFA 2020 now or 2021, and the people keep scoring. They keep scoring. They be like, what's going on with
You
my
guys
defender?
see that goal? Do you guys see that?
Absolute comedy.
That's just like
You
we're
love to see it.
We're talking about how bad United, Chelsea, Liverpool's defenses. They've equalised though just
The people
now.
like,
Oh, shit,
Yes,
they did.
literally. Look, I've got the beat in the background.
Yeah,
Sadio Mane. That was
Mane has
quick.
equalized, yes. Mane has equalized, yeah.
You jinxed it.
I jinxed it. It's who crosses it. I've got it in the background here.
No, it was Salah who caused it. It was Salah. It was Salah.
No, it's Mane who scored the goal. Yeah, so a good flick by Kate.
By who?
Fouls a foul. Okay, yeah, the Mane Salah comes in. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a foul, but I think the last man blew the foul, but it was continued. The referee didn't blow the whistle.
yeah. So it was a foul to Liverpool, but they played advantage. Firmino
Yeah.
flicks it to Salah. It's the front three. Firmino flicks it to Salah. Salah
Exactly.
tries the shot, and then Mane's there for the tap in.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So
Well,
it's 1-1 now. It's
That
1-1.
was that was quick. To be fair, Liverpool deserved. To be honest, Liverpool been all over Arsenal. But
Exactly. So
I
let me
that
ask you whether
Go
can
on.
you, like about the VR handball rules and everything. When
Yeah.
because me, Offside and Park has been discussing about the handball rules. I said for me, this doesn't happen in Bundesliga and Italy. It only happens in EPL. And I said it's all about the referees and the interpretation of the how the VR is being interpreted. It's not IFAB doesn't have any issues with it. It's about the interpretation of the laws and the rules.
The big problem, Adelaide, I mean, because I complained about the handball thing after United lost Lindelof, but like but no one was like, oh yeah, United. So the big problem is that like people only make a complaint about it when it affects them. So if you're only gonna, I think if you're only gonna complain if like it benefits when it doesn't benefit your team, then of course it's going to be done because people are like, well, of course you're going to say that. You guys are going to say that because it didn't go against you. So like I said, when it happened to Lindelof, like I remember with the Lindelof handball in the first game, I was like, if that is a handball, this is going to say, what is Ellison doing? I don't anyway, this is funny banter. This is so this is going to set a precedent. I said it to HH. I said it to people after the post. I get United were bad. But I was like, if that is a precedent you're going to set for handball, in the case of Lindelof, literally he was running back towards the goal.
Yeah.
His hand was in a natural position. It's just he was running back towards the goal and the ball came off his arm, even though his arms were in a natural position. And he was doing the running, like he was literally a running movement. And the ball hits his underarm. It's a penalty. So I was like, if that is going to be a handball, that's going to be a dangerous precedent. And at the time, everyone was laughing because United lost.
Yeah.
But of course, next week we already had it with Spurs. You had it with Chelsea, and so on and so forth. And it's like, I think the big problem, the big issue is that it's the handball law, okay, which is South Africa because we're all VAR now. Everything is now being done according to FIFA. IFAB makes the rules.
Yeah, exactly. IFAB.
So what basically happened is that like the big issue with handball has always been, is it intentional or non-intentional? How do you sort of determine it, etc.
Exactly.
So the new handball rule does say if the ball hits your hand, it's a penalty. That's always done. But what it's done is it said it's left ambiguous to the discretion of the referee. So it's up to the referee to decide what's intentional or not intentional based on the VAR technology that they have, i.e. the screen by the pitch. The referee should go to the monitor, look at it, and then determine based on the monitor whether he thinks it's intentional or not intentional. But what's happened, from my understanding of it, is that the Premier League, being that they have to always be the best league and try and do things differently, have basically made it essentially simple. They've effectively said if it hits your arm, whether it's intentional or non-intentional, it's a penalty. And that way, you basically you clear the ambiguity of, well, it doesn't matter if it's intentional. If it hits the ball, it's a penalty. So you're going to get easier decisions, more penalties. But obviously, what this whole thing does is that it punishes defenders. To be honest, if it is implemented consistently throughout the whole league, I don't actually have a problem with it because at the end of the day, you're going to get some, you're going to lose some. It is what it is. That's how football has always been.
Yeah.
My big issue with the whole with the whole thing is that because they changed the rule where handball, you saw this against Chelsea, against the West Brom, where if an attacker handballs the ball in a build-up for a goal, it's not a handball.
It's not handball. That's the new rules. That's the new rules. That's what I was telling you last time.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand. Like, if you're gonna, you can't punish defenders. Like, they don't have any intention, and you punish defenders when it hits them, they give a penalty. But if an attacker in the build-up to a goal handballs the ball, it's not a goal. That's what I think is unfair. I think that if
I think what IFAB said is all about the distance of where the ball hits you in the hand. They said if your hand is at the back, if your hand, two hands at the back, and the ball hits you either your shoulder or your hand, and your hand is at the back, and the goal was scored, the goal is gonna stand. No matter how, no matter where it hits you, it's gonna stand. But if your hand is at the front and the ball hits your hand, it's gonna be chopped off. So I don't understand the interpretation. I'm a little bit.
I don't understand at all. Because, like, I looked at that. What's his name? The one with, I think it hit off Havertz's hand.
Yeah,
and
no, it was Timo Werner and not the ball into Kai Havertz's hand.
Because the point of that law, at least I understood, it's not about even the position of the hand or not. It's the fact that the hand has guided the direction of the ball to the opponent.
Yep.
So even if an attacker's hand is by their side, if that ball came off that Havertz's hand and that went towards the other player for the goal, it should be disallowed because it was the hand that was used to direct the ball, irrespective of what position it's in. But they've changed that law and said that that's fine. And like I said, that's cool. If you want to do that, that's okay. It's just I don't want to speak for a long time because I know everyone else wants to speak. But my point is, like, for me, all this whole thing does is it punishes defenders. It makes defending almost impossible now, and it makes attacking easy because attackers are just going to basically be like, you know what? Let me just kick the ball. Oh, wow. It's 2-1.
It's 2-1. It's 2-1.
Yeah, Robertson.
Yeah. So it was scrappy, but it's goal.
It's scrappy, but it's goal. Liverpool do deserve, though. They're just. I already told you guys that Liverpool are going to win the league. Yeah. I said first game in. I said they're going to win again. I said it.
It's for a reason.
I read that. Finish up what you're saying.
Sorry, yeah. I was just saying, yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's Trent again with the assist, man. Jeez.
Yeah, Trent again.
Like, no, but Trent has put in like 5 or 6 like brilliant balls into the box this game. And it's just like, whatever you say about Trent Alexander, like his ability to like whip in a good ball into the box, it's like one of the best.
We need to have a discussion about.
Yeah, I don't think in terms of that delivery, he's the best in the world in that position, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like, not as in terms of like an overall right back, but in terms of that actual ability to deliver crosses into the box.
Nearly scored and all.
Jeez. But anyway, yeah, I rather what I'm saying. So the point I'm trying to make is that ultimately, I think that the way this hurts the game is that it punishes defenders a lot because defenders eventually now have to put their hands behind the back, and it imbalances the whole thing because it gives the advantage to attackers. Because now attackers will think, you know what? I just have to kick the ball against defender's hands and it's fine. And on top of that, even if I handle the ball in the build-up to a goal, it's not going to count. I can still score a goal. So I don't know. I just think it completely unbalances the game, and I disagree with the whole thing.
So let me come with offside first because I think offside was talking about the interpretation about the handballs and everything. So, like what I already said, like what I heard from the NBC stuff when they deliberate about the handballs and the high five and everything was like, they have to be 1, intentional, 2, the distance of where the ball, the speed and the distance of where the ball hits you first. Then, when a defender and another defender or an attacker is competing with each other based on their handball, if the attacker knows the ball into your hand intentionally, then the VAR themselves have to check and the center referee have to decide was it intentional or was not before they give a penalty. So that is the confusion in between now. So my question to offside is like, do you think IFAB is gonna scrap up the rules, or maybe Premier League referee need to like understand how the rules is being implemented?
Do I think who is going to be?
IFAB is gonna change the rules, or the Premier League referee needs to understand how it's been implemented?
I think the Premier League will have to, give a different. How do I explain? I'm trying to look for the right word to use. The Premier League would have to understand it the same way, understand and apply it the same way other leagues, including the Champions League, understand and applies it, including FIFA, the same way other leagues have been.
They'll never do the offside though. They'll never do that.
Sorry?
I said they'll never do that.
I'm coming. I'm heading somewhere. I'm just trying to say that the chances of IFAB changing the rule, and it doesn't even make sense, IFAB changing the rule, simply because the Premier League have failed to understand how the rules should be applied, because every other place, they are playing with the same rules and they don't have these controversies. So ideally, I do hope, I expect it to happen. After all, this season, they're still using the pitch side monitors. So hopefully, somehow, sometime along the way, the Premier League will begin to, apply it the way other leagues apply it and interpret it. Fingers crossed.
Oh, okay. So let me go to Tom now. So your take on the handball rules.
Hi, Red Devil.
Hey, offside. Hey, offside.
Please. We'll talk later, please.
So about the handball rules, what's your take about the handball rules? Do something need to change? Like, do the Premier League need to?
Does something need to change? Are you having a laugh there? Of course, it needs to change. It's ridiculous. All you have to do is just stand there in front of an attacker, just lift the ball onto their arm, and it's a penalty. It's as simple as that. Any form of contact on your arm, and you've given away a penalty. I think it's ridiculous. I would say probably from like where your hand is to say, I don't know, halfway between your shoulder and your middle of your arm, then it's a penalty. Like if you're hitting somebody's shoulder, I don't see how that's a penalty. Yeah, it's still part of your arm, but there needs to be some sort of like, maybe like your shirt sleeve. Your shirt sleeve. If it's below your shirt sleeve, then it's a penalty. Something like that is a lot more fairer. But all it takes is you just lift the ball up on somebody's arm, and it's a penalty. That's not a rule. If you're using your hand in a way where like your hand's all the way up or something, or you're diving and you've stopped a goal going in, then fair enough, it is a penalty. But you might as well just give the defenders some handcuffs and just put the handcuffs behind the back. Really, it's as simple as that, because then you can't give away a penalty. I don't get it, because how is a defender now supposed to use their weight or use their, say, physique to stop an attacker? Like, I'll take, for example, Van Dijk. Van Dijk's probably one of the most stronger defenders in the whole Premier League. How is he supposed to defend against somebody like
Olivier Giroud?
Olivier Giroud, for example. Olivier Giroud's getting a ball pumped into him. Yeah, Van Dijk's got to go up and try and head for the ball. So he's got to move his arms to jump up to head the ball. But suddenly, if Giroud just headed the ball like it happened with Carroll and Dyer, where Giroud heads the ball onto Van Dijk's arm when they're both jumping for it, suddenly it's a penalty. What a stupid rule to add in. And it's ruining the game. There's been so many incidents since the whole new season. The Gabriel one at Arsenal, there was controversy over that. There was the one at Man United versus Palace. There was Newcastle Tottenham. Yeah. Brighton. Yeah, Chelsea. There you go. Yeah, Brighton. The Brighton Man United game. There was obviously that one as well. But I think that was more obvious, because if your arm is like all the way up, fair enough. But if it's in a position where you'd be jumping up to jump for the ball, then I don't see how it can be given as a handball, because you're not obstructing like a goal scoring opportunity. It's same like with red card rules. If you're the last man and you take an attacker out, you're red carded. It's as simple. You're done, because you're stopping a goal scoring opportunity. Because they go past you, they've got an opportunity to score. It's the exact same with handball, and it's like with these encroachment rules. I don't agree with that either, because you've got to wait until the attacker kicks the ball. That gives the goalkeeper hardly any manoeuvrability to shift to one side to save the ball. So any attacker that can just smash the ball into the bottom corner, they're going to score every time. It doesn't matter.
You know, you've got to be like blooming the Big Show to try and save it, to shift to one side or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to be about 7 foot to do that. So the encroachment rule, they should be allowed to jump forward a bit and then dive to a side because it's giving them that mobility to do that. Exactly the same with a handball. You're giving the player the mobility and the benefit of the doubt to go for the aerial ball and try and score or try and defend your goal. So like I said, I think the rule will be changed because we're not just going to be talking about this now. There'll be another incident very soon. Exactly. Probably every single weekend. And it'll cost the team. Tottenham got cost 3 points at the weekend.
Exactly.
And Tottenham are trying to chase top 4.
Yep.
Palace are trying to maybe break into the top 10 this year as a goal. Yeah. That's just been blown out the window. They've lost 3 points. Man United are trying to get into the top 4. Yeah, they've had one go for them at the Brighton game, but I think that was more fairer. But the one against Palace, that it pretty much blows out the game because you're behind. So I don't understand the whole handball rule. Why is it even changed? We've changed it because of what's happened with the shoulder. We changed it because if it boots the shoulder.
With the handball rules, it was changed the summer before the EPL start. I think IFA broke the rules out because there were too many complaints about the handball rules last year.
Because of the incident with the shoulder. That's why I'm saying just do it from.
So what IFAB said is IFAB just give three explanations about the handball rule. It said one, the distance and the speed of the ball that hit a defender on an attacker. If a defender knocked the ball into an attacker in the opposition. An opposition the post and the ball hit an attacker and maybe an attacker cleared it out and it leads to a goal. The goal is gonna stand. Once your hand is at your back, it will stand. But if your hand is at the front and the ball hits you on that, the goal will not stand. That's and the second one again. If you are nodding the ball with the contesting with the defender and maybe another attacker hit the ball on your hand, then that's gonna count as a penalty. Regardless of where you are, it's gonna count as a penalty. That's a clear penalty.
Yeah, and
all these explanations are just too complicated.
Exactly.
What if your hands are just outstretched by your sides? What then happens?
Yeah, it's like with a retake.
In front of you, it's not behind you. Now they're no more talking about raising the hands to jump and this and all that. In my opinion, they should just revert to the same ball to hand. Did you move your hand towards the ball? VAR, did the ball come towards your hand? That will solve all these shenanigans.
Yeah.
These issues will come up.
Yeah, it's like with the decision with when a player's got to retake the penalty. I'll take the Palace Man United one for example, where they had to retake it because of the encroachment.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I'm not getting onto that though because it was encroachment. I'll agree with that. But Jordan Ayew was the first penalty kick taker and he missed. Then they retook the penalty and a different player took the penalty. Why does a different player get to take the penalty? Because if it's encroachment, the same player that's just had a go has to do it again. Otherwise, how is it fair? Because they've just missed the penalty. So now the pressure's on them to score it again. But suddenly you can change the taker. And then Zaha can take it. And then he's not under any pressure because he's not just missed one. I don't see how that is fair. So you can change the taker. So if you can change the taker, don't have an encroachment rule. Simple as that. Because if you can change the taker, then you might as well let the goalkeeper move from which side to side, and then you're not gonna have to retake penalties.
Exactly.
But if you've missed the penalty, you've missed the penalty. That should be it. You've had a goal opportunity and you've blown it. That's it. None of this retaking crap or anything. And if it happens with any player, if it happens at Chelsea, I'm sure you'd say the same.
I would say the same thing.
With Brighton.
The third goal in which was scored, Tammy Abraham scored. The third goal, I was like, the ball was on handball. Then I was like, it was on handball. How did the ball stand? Then when I look at the rules, I was like, how do IFA bring out these rules? Because it was
who were they hiring?
Because it was Timo Werner who knocked the ball into Kai Havertz hand. His hand was at the back when he knocked the ball. The ball touched him in between the shoulder and the hand. Then it came down. Then a defender cleared it out. Then Mason Mount played the ball, then the goalkeeper pushed it. Then Abraham scored. I was like, then how does the rule is being implemented? I do not understand.
Who are they hiring? The garbage man?
That was
Are the stewards making it up now in the stadiums? Are they making the football rules?
Well, this is not. This is what I'm saying. This is not necessarily IFAB's fault. I think this is how the Premier League is. It's the same thing with how we.
Yeah, the Premier League have agreed with it.
No. If you look at the IFAB, it's the same thing with last season where what happened last season with VAR. The technology of the side monitors were available. Every other place in Europe was asking the referees to go to what
the monitor.
What was the Premier League or the FA was doing? They were advising their referees not to go towards the monitor. So it's the same case with this handball rule. The handball rule obviously says if there is contact with the hand in the box, whether intentional is a penalty. However, they have said in the rules, they have said that they leave the discretion up to the referee based on the utilization of the technology. So what should be happening is the referee should be going to the monitor. If they see the hand, whoever it is in the monitor who doesn't see it, so they may have a look at it. He'll go to the pitch monitor, look at the video, see if they, based on what they see and what they experience on the pitch, feel that should be a handball, and then judge accordingly. Because it's not necessarily as clear. What's happened, from my understanding of the Premier League, is they said maybe the referees are afraid they don't want that sort of ambiguity. So they've said, don't make it ambiguous. If it just hits your hand, that's in the box, that's it. That's how they've interpreted the rule in the Premier League. They've just said, if it hits your hand, the ball, it's a penalty, end of discussion, and we're not going to have any ambiguity. Whereas the IFAB rules are at least give the option for at least a bit of ambiguity, i.e., any referee. The point I guess I'm trying to make here is that, like, this is the problem with when you have subjective, offside. I've never had an issue with VR on offside because offside is offside. Whether it's millimeter or 10 meters, fine. Objectively, you can make that an objection thing. The problem with handball is that handball, people think handball is objective, but handball is not objective because you don't know the intention or non-intention of the player. You're just looking at pictures and you'll just make an assessment that, that player intentionally, every player who speaks to them will say that they didn't intend to handball the ball. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel intention and non-intention is irrelevant because you can non-intentionally handball the ball and it still looks like a blatant handball, whatever. So that's why I believe anyway that the way the referee should interpret handball is like the IFAB rules now. Yes, if it hits the handball, it's you have to call it for a handball, but it is up to the referee's discretion on that game in that field to have a look at it and then to make his judgment based on the context of the game, because the context of the game will be different to every different game. It's up to him to then make the decision whether he thinks it's a handball or not. And then it's for us to just be happy with it, because what I would say with, and I end with this with fans and people, is that I think it's wrong that we expect consistency in the application of handball because handball is a subjective matter. So we can't, if we go back to what I've just said, we can't say, why was it a handball in this game? Why was it handball in that game? Well, because the circumstances of that game is
in my opinion, when you see someone that consciously move their body or their hand towards the ball, it is clear, especially when it's replayed in slow-mo. It's very clear when you see someone that moves with intention.
But this is what I'm saying, like what we see, it's difficult sometimes because we see certain camera angles, we see how things are. The referee, obviously, assuming they've seen it, because oftentimes it's poor when they haven't seen it, but the referee has the most holistic view of the game than we have if they see the incident, right? So we might be seeing something with a particular angle that will say this person intentionally handballed the ball, but the referee
they should. That's why there's a VAR. That's why there's a VAR. They should go and watch it.
Yeah, but that's my point of side. My point of side is that, like, ultimately the referee is in the context of the game. The whole handball is ultimately subjective, and it's the referee in that game, based on the circumstances that the game is being played, that should make the decision with the assistance of VAR. So you'll find that in some games the ball might touch the hand of the opponent, but it's not going to be a handball because in the context of the game, it wasn't. Because as you said, the referee felt actually it looked like he went towards looked like the ball, it was ball to hand or whatever, versus another where like he literally deliberately pushed the ball away. Like what I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I know I'm speaking a lot and I apologize, is that the big problem is that you're trying to make something that I believe is subjective objective. Like handball is not unfortunately, it's not an objective thing. You know, so if we accept that handball is not an objective thing, then the referees can just make their decisions, and then we can accept it. And we don't accept it, that's fine. But at least they've made the decision. Simple.
But they have to make it clear for people watching. Like, if this is the rules now, if this is the rules and how it's being implemented, make it official, make it clear for everybody that there will not be no more controversy anymore. Because if you are making an handball rules about this, that, people's gonna be get confused. Like, what is going on? But this happened against this. This happened against this happened against this. Then what's the problem? If you wanna make it okay, when the ball hit an opposition hand, if his hand is at the back, it's not an handball, it's a goal. We're okay. Now we have to watch the match. Now, if the ball hit an opposition hand in his back and it's a goal, then we'll know, okay, this is how the handball is being implemented. Then if it's not like that, then how is it implemented for everybody watching to kind of have an understanding about how it's been done? Because Haifa doesn't have these issues. It is the Premier League and the referees that is having these issues. How it's been implemented. That is the problem. It's not the Haifa. Haifa doesn't have these issues. It's the Premier League referees and the officiating themselves doesn't kind of interpret it in the way people can understand how it's been done. That's my own take about this. I don't think Haifa had an issue with it. I do not think so. I don't think so. So let's talk a little bit about Manchester City and Leicester City. So
are we talking about Chelsea yet? Sorry, just
okay. Okay, before we go to Man City
yes, please. Yes, please. We've talked about Chelsea. Can we move on, please? Thank you very much.
Let's talk about.
Let's talk about Chelsea.
I want to bet my hanger on a particular player, but at the moment, I want to talk
West Brom, man. West Brom.
Like Firstly, the first half, like it looks like I'm playing FIFA 21. I'm playing FIFA 21, like conceding goals in the first 25 minutes. I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm playing FIFA. Then after the first half, I was calm. After the 45, I was calm a little bit because I was frustrated already in the first half. And in the second half, I was like, okay, my frustration will go from 100% to higher if this doesn't change in the next 60 to 65 minutes. I'm gonna get mad. So this starts to change. So when I say like 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, I was like, okay, now I'm calm now. Then I look how the mistake was coming from. It was silly mistake, a mistake that should not be made on the professional level. From Thiago Silva to Marcos Alonso himself, I do not know, that guy should not be a footballer anymore in his entire life. He should never step in the pitch and become a footballer anymore. I am completely done. When I say done, I am done. I've never seen a left back being worse as Marcos Alonso in my entire life. Watching football, I've never ever seen.
This is a raw.
That's the guy that scored lots of free kicks.
I don't care.
Very, very important free kicks that helped us win points against Tottenham.
But he's as worse as I ever see as a defense, as a left back. I've never.
Come on, he had a bad game.
A bad game.
I don't know how to do that. I just don't know because Alonso is pissing me off. According to what I read from the Athletic, it was like Lampard was trying to talk to the players at the halftime that, guys, we know this is wrong. Let's try to fix it. And second half, let's just show some passion and ambition for people watching. Let's call the deficit from 3-0 either to 3-2 or 3-3. We'll be fine with that. Alonso was like going to the team boss and sitting down and said he wants to watch the second half. Not with the team, himself only. Are you the manager? The manager putting him to play. Why are you going to be taking yourself out of the team and saying you want to watch the match yourself only? So something else, what exactly is not, if it doesn't want to play anymore, get the hell out of the club. We don't need you anymore. Then what's going on? What's going on? Because in my everybody make mistake. I completely understand. But making that silly mistake, the first goal, you completely held the ball into opposition hand. Is what we can see. The ball was given and you not it on the opposition hand. What they expect the defender to do? Nothing. The second goal, the third goal they scored, you were already marking the player. You left him alone. I was like, hey, I have somebody who's gonna help me out. Are you playing 5-a-side football or 4-a-side football. I do not understand. I don't understand again. I need some explanation about Alonso because I'm already getting frustrated already. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Man. I don't know. Maybe after that something to say about Alonso, but for me, I do not know what to say about Alonso.
Well, I just feel like I don't know who was surprised. The thing is, with Marcos Alonso, you just don't know the game that it will go wrong. There are games where he plays and he plays very well. You see what he can bring to the side, and there are times when he plays and you're wondering how in the world does this guy have anything to do with sports whatsoever. Probably he should have gone for high jump or something. But then again, as you say, it's football, and he had a terrible, terrible day, and it's basically exposed his weaknesses as his weakness rather as a fullback, as a defensive player. Um, I wasn't surprised. I've seen it before. It's not, excuse me, it's nothing new to me in regards to Marcos Alonso. The one I was a little bit surprised about was Silva's error.
Ego, yeah.
Yeah, that was, but that can happen to anybody.
That was
That
banter.
can also happen to
That was,
anybody.
that was banter offside, though. That was, this is the person that was brought in to save your defense, and
Red
you know,
Devil, Red Devil. Can you
He's
allow?
sinking with
This is
it.
a family matter. This is a family
Yeah,
matter.
I'm already getting angry with Alonso. Please don't bring this to that.
no, I mean Alonso. Everyone knows. I mean, we'll see what Chua does. Alonso is he's
He's
just
a flop.
What? Marcos Pablo Escobar.
and what the Chelsea game sort of told me was that like it's true that Kepa's actually one in charge. Kepa's the one in charge. If you can't when Kepa is dropped, when Kepa is dropped, Chelsea fall apart. He's the manager at the end of the day, So this is the thing. So when
yeah, I can vouch for that because I'm not being funny. When Chelsea were 3-0 down, I didn't see Lampard on the touchline. He was just soaking in his chair.
Exactly.
Until half time.
Kepa's like, mate, guys, get it together, guys. Come on. Like, I need to get back into this team. So I just think that we'll see. I didn't think we'll see what happens. Chelsea fans will say they haven't got their strongest 11 yet.
Yeah.
Ziyech, Pulisic, and all those come back.
Yeah, but most of them are attacking players anyway.
Yeah.
In the first half, Chelsea didn't really attack at all.
This is why I said to Offside and Abdullahi, I was like, I still don't see how Chelsea have massively improved their back five. Mendy, we'll see what happens if he's as a keeper. Who knows? Thiago Silva, obviously his debut wasn't great, but we'll have to see what happens. And Ben Chilwell, I've said multiple times, he's better than Alonso as a left back. I give you that. So, but I don't rate Ben Chilwell defensively. Really, he's good going forward, but defensively, he's okay.
He's iffy, so we have to see how he plays.
He's probably better than Alonso. So he is better.
He's much better than Alonso.
He is much better defensively. Yes, going forward, but defensively definitely.
Don't talk about Kepa, please. I'm already getting angry about Alonso. Don't bring Kepa.
Chelsea already said he doesn't go straight in.
Nah. I've been backing Kepa for the past since last time I've been backing Kepa. I'm like, okay, he's gonna turn around.
Problem with Chelsea is they've bought too many players and they've not got rid of anybody.
Imagine paying 75 million. How much did they pay for him? Now he's not even making one mistake, consecutive mistake, back to back.
Yeah, Kepa he shouldn't be the first team goalkeeper for Chelsea. I think what people need to remember as well, because of this whole pandemic, there's not really been a pre-season. People forgetting Kai Havertz has just walked into the team. He's only literally trained 1 or 2 weeks, and they're forced to play. Like, I don't expect Chelsea to go from 0 to 100 straight away. We had the poorest defense out of the top 6. Chelsea typically have been like back in the day with the John Terry. We were always that defensive team. Now we've changed. Now our defense, we don't have that. We have Kepa in goal when we used to have Courtois, who was a good keeper. No, but it's true though. Like
before his injury, yes. After his injury, he's You look at the Real Madrid game, even that he played, and the first, and even though I know Madrid won, that goal that he conceded was like, wow, that was.
To be honest, I didn't like Courtois getting to the end. Like, I was ready for him to leave, but the keepers are important. You can see with Liverpool, even when they had Van Dijk, they couldn't win the league until they got Alisson, a keeper who was actually decent. The same with Man U. You lot were like held to a decent standard because you had a top class keeper, David. If you don't have a good keeper, you cannot win a league. Like simple as. If you don't have a good keeper, you can't win a league. And Chelsea,
If
are
you don't
far
have a
from
keeper, you
it.
can't win a trophy at all.
At all. Sir Alex Ferguson of United said it. He said a defender wins titles. Why an attacker win matches? It doesn't lie.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
it's true.
So, but I've been backing Kepa for the past year. Since I've been backing, I've been like, I always tell offside, we need to be calm about Kepa. Just give him time to gel together. But my Lord in heaven, what this guy has been doing, little mistake, week in and week out. Now I'm done backing this guy. I'm done.
Yeah, he's finished. I feel like he was poor after the Sarri incident where he decided not to come off the pitch. Ever since then, he's just been messing up with his confidence.
He's been focusing with managerial duties. You know, of course, he can't focus on being a good player on the pitch and being a good manager off it. So he's focusing on his managerial duties at Chelsea Football Club, and that's why his goalkeeping has suffered as a result.
Agreed.
Offside, do you have anything to say about Alonso or Kepa? I beg.
Or Chelsea.
Sorry?
Do you have anything to say about Alonso Kepa before we move forward? I don't want to tell you talk about Kepa.
I've said what I have to say about Alonso. Don't think it was service as usual. In the case of Kepa, personally, right, I started seeing his limitations last season. I've said that severally. Then when he did, so I was never really drawn to him, right? When he did that thing against
Man City
in
the Carabao Cup finals.
Yeah, against Man City, with Sarri, the Carabao Cup, it's immediately ruled out. Like, I don't know, unconsciously, right? It put him in my bad books, unconsciously. I condemned everything he did, even during the game and all that. But I think in my subconscious, that's always now left me, in a position that I expected way more. So he had to redeem himself. He had to do a lot to redeem himself and his image. So I think because of that, even any mistake he makes, we can't cut him some slack anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
He put pressure
Anything
on himself.
He makes those mistakes. I'm not taking that away from him. He makes those mistakes. But certain things that, would say for some other players, give them time, it's a new league and this and that and that. Most Chelsea fans, even though they may tell themselves or tell other people that, nah, it's not about the thing against Manchester City. But deep down, the subconscious, he has been included in our bad books. So it's like, okay, you can't even prove yourself. You're not all that. You can't back it up. So away with you. He can't. I've said it severally. He just isn't good enough. He doesn't have the ability to be as good as Chelsea did. It's not that he doesn't want to be. He can't. He just can't be. So he just, quit abusing his person. Let him just enjoy his money.
Can we just move forward about Kepa and Alonso? I don't want to even talk about that anymore. No. I'm done. Alonso is already getting on my nerves already. I don't want
Alonso is a liability. Like he's only good five.
I know you may want to move on from this game, from that Chelsea game. There's a Lampard role. The role Lampard played in that game. He's lined up and everything. Now, I want to take a positive from that game, and that was the fact that we came from 3 goals down, right? To draw that particular game, 3-0.
But it was against West Brom.
Chelsea of last season. Chelsea of last season wouldn't have won that game. Chelsea of last season would have lost that game.
Yeah, it's West Brom though.
That's true.
It's West Brom.
West Brom aren't poor though. They're not shit. They've just been unfortunate. They have no defense.
Hello.
I
feel like certain players, especially the fact that the academy boys were the ones that scored that goal. I said something. I've said it before. Personally, I'll drop Kai Havertz and played for the midfielders we had last season. Something is wrong. The guy is not fit enough.
Right? So why have you spent 75 million?
No, you have to listen to me. I'm not saying he's not good enough. I said he is not fit enough. That is me. That is my opinion.
Yeah, but you
Right?
need to play matches to get fit.
No. I said for now, I would drop him. That is my opinion. I mean, you may not agree with me, but that is what I think, right? It's better you bring him from the bench gradually. He'll get back to his the match fitness level that is expected of him. Now, the fact that the academy players were the ones that scored all 3 goals shows me something. And I noticed something. They had that desire, the hunger. I felt like Mason Mount has matured a certain level from last season.
And Cho also too. Cho wants to prove a point.
I'm talking about leadership. I'm not talking about influencing the game. Just
A
scoring
lot,
goals.
a lot of, a lot of Chelsea,
About leadership. There was
a lot of
something
Chelsea
that,
fans
to me, Mason Mount
credit
turned
now.
the game around the second half.
Yep.
I rest my case.
But a lot of Chelsea fans, and I actually agree with us side, and I actually feel like because when a lot of Chelsea fans are posting starting 11 at start of the season, Havertz was, it was Kovacic, Kante, who I'm a bit concerned about Kante, but anyway, Mount wasn't even in the squad. People weren't even thinking about Mount, at all as a player. But you're right. Like yesterday, to be honest, Mount showed up. The academy guys showed up, and I feel like Mount has been disrespected by a lot of Chelsea fans because he's not the 100 million new signing, know. So, and it's clear that Lampard likes Mount,
A lot.
Yeah, he loves him. He's got favoritism towards him.
The thing is, his son. He like Mount.
The thing is, people keep on saying favoritism, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, but if he plays well, this is the thing. It's like if he's playing well, scoring goals, team, you don't drop that player. So it's like
I agree.
Like Lampard is famous, but he's scoring goals. Like you don't take off a player that's your team win because you spent 100 million on another. That for
but
me.
The thing is, I think the issue mainly is like Mount definitely is for Chelsea. The moment he came in, first of all, Lampard played with Mount and Tomori the season before at Derby. So Lampard knows Mount inside and out, and if he tells him do it this way, he does what Lampard wants. So of course, if he does what he wants on the training pitch, he's got to start if he's doing the right things, and that's rightfully so. But I think the issue is in certain games, I don't doubt that Mount is a good player. He's very composed, plays quite maturely. However, certain games he isn't as influential as he could be because first of all, he doesn't even play the position that he naturally is. Yep. He's not a winger. He's not a final third attacking player. He's a midfielder. He's a number 8. So it's weird as a Chelsea fan. I love Mount, but it's weird and it's dumb when I see him on the wing, and he's playing over other wing. I know there's injuries and this, but okay, Hudson-Odoi is not at the top of his game right now, but he's not a winger.
When he brought on Hudson-Odoi, that was when Mason Mount get back to his position. That was when he went back.
Exactly, yes. But Hudson-Odoi came in and played on the wing, and Mount played in the middle more. That's why Mount played well and he was able to come back.
Number 10. Then I think everything changes when Callum came in in the halftime. When he came, he played on his favorite position, which is the left wing. Then he switched. Havertz and then Mount switched. Both of them super. Havertz went back to number 8. Then Mason Mount went to number 10. That was when both of them switched because I was watching the second half. Havertz played more as a central, as a number 8.
Yes, he came central.
He was coming back. He was literally playing, and the Mount was pushing in. I was like, wait, what was going on?
And do you know whose position? Do you know whose position was actually taken up? It was Kovacic. They took out Kovacic. I don't dislike Kovacic, but Kovacic doesn't have an eye for goal. He's more of a ball carrier. And to be honest, for Chelsea, maybe with Declan Rice coming in, if we try to get him, it's going to be hard with so many players. It's going to be hard to figure out how they gel together.
Immediately, he took him out. He took Kovacic out. I was like, why do you take Kovacic out? I was like, okay.
Exactly. I disliked it as well at the start, but then obviously the result came through because Kovacic isn't really he doesn't break through to the final third. He would just sort of hold the ball.
Kovacic is a ball carrier.
Yeah, he's a ball carrier. I know, I rate him, but then when you got in the team like with Chelsea, there was one game where we played Jorginho, Kante, and Kovacic. That is completely pointless. For me, that's pointless because our
Against
top
against
three,
Liverpool. It was
and then
against
you got Mount in the top three. That doesn't work. Mount isn't you need like a Hazard or a Hudson Odoi, somebody who will run at defenders.
Yeah.
Mount doesn't do that.
You don't need two defensive midfielders to play
Yeah,
against
Exactly.
that was
Liverpool
because
they're not
there
creative.
was no Pulisic and there was
Exactly.
no Akim Zahel. So that was the
Yes,
reason.
exactly. There's no
That was my
Pulisic.
issue with. At the moment, I keep saying it. I'm not gonna judge Chelsea now and even Lampard now because once Messi and once Akim Ziyech and then Christian Pulisic comes in fully fit, that is when I'm gonna say Lampard. I want to take the formation. I want to know exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you can take off forward, or maybe it's time to like revisit and talk about you. But at the moment, it's too early because the most influential player in that team hasn't even played at all.
Yeah, Ziyech is the best player on that team.
Yeah,
straight up. He hasn't even touched the finger yet. When our preseason game, when Werner scored, literally the first 2 minutes, it was Ziyech that played the ball.
Yeah,
this guy knows how to find the eye of the needle pass, and that's what we need for our attackers. Not people who doesn't know how to create.
Can even go 1v1 with a defender, Pulisic, and
exactly. Yeah, Pulisic last season was our best attacker, but he was getting like injured here and there, so we didn't really.
That was people were abusing Lampard of not using. Lampard said he doesn't want to risk Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech because people kind of talking too much about the press conference. Why don't you play that fit? He said, "I'm the one coaching them. They aren't fit yet. We cannot take a risk we did last season." Then they came into the team and they get injured again.
Yeah, that's what happened to Kante last season as well. He tried to bring him in early from the World Cup. He tried to brush him in. He got injured, so he was like staggered the whole season. Pulisic the same. We had quite a few injuries last season, to be honest. Yeah.
Exactly. So please let's move on from because I don't want
even.
I know some of them kept as me already with I don't want to even talk about him. Alonso, please, Lampard, if you play Alonso the next match, you're gonna have a problem. Both of us are gonna.
Well, is Chilwell fit?
Huge one.
Yeah, Chilwell's fit.
Huge.
Chilwell's fit now. Chilwell's fit. Then
if you play
we'll go in. But
Alonso in the next match,
but
there's gonna be a huge wow.
You know what I think the issue is though?
Problem.
I think they're considering the amount of games we have. So we're going to start rotating. We have to rotate players.
This is the thing about like depth and stuff and fitness. Like I don't know.
Match fitness.
Like that's why Liverpool, so as people say that Liverpool's style will be
complete as a left back, and Everton can't even do better.
Abdullah, okay? You're starting it now. I think he's
too slow.
Yeah, he's like breaking up.
He's breaking up. Abdullah, if you can hear us, come in and out of the stream. You're kind of breaking up and your connection's going.
Hello. What's going on?
Okay. Hello?
Abdullah, can you hear us?
Abdullah, I'm fine. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Abdullah.
Abdullah, you need to come out of the stream and come back out again. Or change your connection. Can't hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear him now. I'll try and type in.
I think his connection is gone. Okay, I'll be back anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, Chelsea, they definitely need to do a lot for this season. Well, not do a lot. They just need time, I think. Lampard said it, but... Oh, Jesus, Fabinho. Fabinho's a dirty fucking player, ain't he?
Is he on?
I think he's reconnecting. Let's have a look.
I can't hear him. He's not speaking around.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, he's come back.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you, but you keep breaking up again.
Go ahead and try to talk, Abdul. Yeah, I think his connection is just a bit struggling.
What a ball.
Absolutely piss poor.
Okay.
That was shocking.
How's Lacazette gone and done that? Fuck me, Lacazette, man.
What, I was missing there? He was
I need to
offside. He was
reconnect
offside
because
anyway.
I've lost it.
No, he looked onside.
Well, the official put the flag up anyway.
Oh,
But then they
right,
just straight away played on.
Either way, it was a full finish.
Oh yeah, you need to score that.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. I think I have to turn off the internet and put it back on. The internet is like it's getting on my nerves. I need to find a way to fix it. Yeah, I need to find a way to fix it. Like the amount I'm paying for that internet, like the way they are charging me, I need to find a way to fix it. I'm gonna call the office today. Like, what's going on with my internet? So I think the next one we're gonna talk about is I don't want to bring. I've been saying it like I don't have an issue with Pep Guardiola. I keep saying it, but my problem with Pep Guardiola is
Oh,
his
here we
formation.
go.
He's on.
I've been saying it
And he's
like
missed it again.
I don't want to talk about Pep Guardiola. I don't want to talk
Unreal.
about Pep Guardiola, but with the Man City match I watched against Leicester City, I think I need to bring in Pep. Firstly, you are an attacking manager. I got it. Fine. You are an attacking manager. I completely understand. Yes. But the problem with you are playing an island with a team who is defending on the counter attacking. You don't do that because you don't play island when you are playing team like Leicester City, United, Arsenal. You don't play that team because you have to find a way to either if your plan A doesn't work, you gotta have a plan B. That is my problem. That's my agenda with Pep now. It's not about his accolades win. Those things win. I completely respect what he has won. But the way people are rating him high, I do not rate him that high. No. I don't. I have other managers who I'm gonna put ahead of us, ahead of Pep, far better than him. So my problem with Pep is we know you're an attacking manager. Fine, have a plan B. If your plan A doesn't work, find a way for your plan B to work. You can't be playing attacking football every time because if you're playing this island every day, you'll be losing every time. You will lose matches that you don't even need to lose. You will lose a lot of matches that you don't need to lose. So I'm gonna go with Park now. He's a Man City fans.
Yeah, you're right.
Where are you on Pep? Do you still give him this full season, or you be like it's time for Pep to go?
Oh, no, of course he's gonna stay. Like, even if I want him to go, like, he's not going anywhere. But like at the same time, we just need to be better, like, as a whole. Because like there was like the defending on the counter attack yesterday was absolutely abysmal. Like they kept getting it every time. especially after Fernandinho came off. So yeah, we need to improve.
Yeah, but it's not. I'll just interrupt there. It's not this season though.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just for the cup, it's been for the last, for all the last season that was the main problem, and everybody relayed it back on. Oh, it was just the defense was poor, but you've gone out there and bought defenders now. Like you bought such Ake, for example. I know we haven't obviously watched Diaz play, but obviously he's coming in from a different league, so he's got to obviously adjust.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like Ake was decent yesterday. He was probably the best out of the whole City team, but still, like,
Oh yeah,
the whole defensive structure was just like non-existent.
So
you've not replaced Company. That's been the main problem.
Yeah, it's been a problem for like the past 12 months.
Yeah, Company's been the rock solid of that defence. Company and Laporte, that was a good partnership. Yeah, because one of them was right-footed and one of them was left-footed, and they suited the style that Pep plays, like the style of football. But now that they've lost half of that, I know Laporte's obviously been injured, then you've suddenly lost the other half, and then suddenly you're struggling to get your main defenders in the team so you can't even play. But even if you do have your main defenders, such as Laporte, that's only 50% of what you had. And you're missing that 50%. And obviously you've splashed the money out on Ruben Diaz and you're hoping that's going to work out, whether it is or isn't.
How good is Ruben Diaz himself? How good is he?
Honestly, I can tell you, I've never seen him play like for Benfica, so I guess we'll see in the Premier League.
I'll say he's all right, but I wouldn't put that much leverage on him to say, oh, he's going to come in and have the impact that, say, Van Dijk has.
Mhm.
Like I know such as Fernandes came in from, say, the Portuguese league and he hit the hammer in United. But I look at such as Jedson Fernandes has gone to Tottenham. He doesn't even make the bench, and he's been and he was on loan. Doesn't even make the bench. So and obviously he's going to a team like City. There's competition, so if he isn't performing well, you can easily bump him out and stick Ake in or Laporte in. But obviously, I think what a lot of people are losing here as well is they're getting rid of one of their poorer defenders in Otamendi, and they're getting an improved defender in there. I wouldn't say he's up to the scratch of Company though. Not for me, anyways.
I'd agree.
So, where do you stand with Pep and the defending stuff? Where do you stand? Do you want to changes in the defense, or where exactly do you stand?
Do I what?
Do you want I'm going with Pep with Park now. Where do you stand with Pep? Pep Guardiola, where do you stand? Do you think it's time for changes, or you want to give him time a little bit?
Oh, I'll give him time. I'll give him until the end of the season. But let's say if it's a carbon copy of last season, then if he wants to go, then I think we'll just have to let him go then. If he doesn't want to renew.
I listened to his interview. He said he has to end his contract. That he has to end it by showing what he can do on the pitch. That if he doesn't end it, then he deserves his sack. Then what exactly are you telling the fans? When you're telling the fans you want him to go, you want to go. So that's why I'm asking you that. Where do you stand? Do you okay, let me give it to this season and see where we are? Or it's time for you to go? Because if you remember, you guys have not done anything at all in Europe. So that's it. You didn't bring Pep Guardiola in to win the EPL for you. Hell no, you cannot tell me that.
They brought him to win the Champions League.
You brought him to win the Champions League. So you cannot tell me you brought him to win the EPL. No, I cannot agree that with you. You brought him in to win the Champions League. Now this is not 1, 2, 3, 4. You haven't won it. Even get to the semi-finals, you haven't. This is his fifth season. Now he hasn't done anything. I've not been hate on Pep Guardiola. I've been saying it. I'm not hating him. But Pep will get on my nerves this season if he doesn't do anything in Europe. This is the time I'm going to get on Pep Guardiola's nerves.
If it's going to get on you, imagine being a City fan.
No. Pep Guardiola is going to get me angry this year if he doesn't win it. People rate him high. I do not. Because he hasn't shown me anything in Europe yet that will guarantee me, yes, he can do this. He has won it in Barcelona. I completely agree. Did they win it in Bayern Munich? No. Did they even get the service in Bayern Munich? No. The same thing with Man City too. He hasn't done it. So this year, Pep has to show everybody in the world you can do it in Europe. If Pep doesn't do it in Europe, he's in trouble.
All right,
he's in trouble. What do you mean by that though? As in, you think he'd get the sack?
Yes, he will get the sack because they.
I don't think we'd ever sack him.
I don't think you. How can you sack Pep Guardiola? I think he'd leave off his own accord. I don't think you'd sack him because who do you get? He is the
That's what I'm
best
saying,
out
like,
there.
if he
He
leaves
is the.
tomorrow,
You can't go and get Klopp from Liverpool, who's probably up there with him. Who do you go and get? You go and get Poch, who's not won anything, and you wanted to win the Champions League. You know, Allegri maybe, but you know, suddenly you're struggling to come up with anybody.
that's what I'm
What do you
saying.
go?
Like,
Do you go and get company to become the main manager or something now?
Exactly.
Follow the trend. Follow the
What?
trend.
Okay, let me ask you now. After all of those spend now, what excuse can we give Pep in Europe now? Because people cannot find an excuse for him to give in Europe this because he doesn't have his player. All the players he has in that Man City team, he bought most majority of 70% of the players, he bought them himself. So what is the problem in Europe? We can
What's the
clearly
problem? He's blown out too much money on defenders that haven't worked. That's the problem that he's done. He's blown how much? I don't know how much money he spent on that defense. It's ridiculous, and they
almost
can't defend properly.
above
You know,
400.
there's players like such as Stones who sits on the bench every week now. You
I mean,
know,
that's not
they've
true,
had-
but like, he just needs to improve like his own confidence and everything. But yeah,
well,
continue.
yeah. I'm just using him as a name. You know, Angelino was another one. He bought him, and now he's busted him out on loan to Leipzig. What was the point in buying him?
I mean,
And-
it was
and-
because he was from the academy. We got him on a buyback clause for like 6 million, so we're still gonna make money on him. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, though. But do you really need a left back when you've got such as Mendy when he's fully fit? No, and I don't get the aspect of that even when you've got Zinchenko as well. So now you need a third left back. You know, I get you've obviously blown so much money at the team, and it's given you success in obviously the league. But obviously the main goal why you bring Pep Guardiola is in. You don't bring Pep Guardiola to win the FA Cup or win the Carabao Cup. You bring him to win the Champions League. Yeah, the league comes with it because, you know, in the Spanish league, for example, it was only between him and Jose at Rayo. So it was pretty much 50-50 whether they won the league in that. This year in the Premier League, it's 50-50 again because you've got to topple Liverpool. But if they keep on the steam rolling, then you're not going to stop them. But I think, obviously, the problem with Pep is he's got too many ideas. He goes into a game overthinking things. Like he thinks, "Oh, right, I'll go in here with." Well, so if we go a goal behind,
You said my mind already. You completely said my mind.
yeah.
You
If he goes in there, if we go in there and we go 1-0 down, right, here's Plan B. If we go in there and we're 3 goals down, here's a Plan F. He's got a plan for everything, but it doesn't always work. Like I didn't get why you changed your system in the Champions League against Lyon. He completely changed the system.
Yeah,
and
that was all on him.
Yeah, it was all on him because he changed the system. Yeah, you don't have to change personnel. And people, I spoke to a couple of City fans who were saying the reason why we lost the game was we didn't have an out-and-out striker. Well, really, you don't need an out-and-out striker to win things. I've seen plenty of players play. No. I've seen plenty of players play false 9. False 9 is completely different to how a normal striker plays. In a whole season, for a whole season, yes, because Lionel Messi used to do it at Barcelona, and Barcelona went and won the league. He played false 9 before they bought Suarez, and then they went and won the league. So, and I know that's obviously different to say the Premier League. Other clubs have done it in the Firmino does it at Liverpool. Firmino's not a striker. Firmino's a false 9.
Everybody's not on Messi.
Yeah, but I'm just using an example. So, Firmino's not obviously at the standard of Messi, but he's still played the same formation and the same position, and he's gone and won the Champions League and the Premier League in the space of 2 years. So it just shows the false 9 does work. So long as you've got good wingers, and I look at say the left wing, if obviously they played Sterling through the middle, Ferran Torres is 50-50 for me. I wouldn't have sold Sane to bring him in. I would have sooner kept Sane than got Torres, if I'm being honest. But suddenly, when I'm looking at the wingers, I'm not seeing that squad in depth anymore because you've lost a winger. You've lost Sane. Sane was an amazing player. If you kept him fully fit for a season, amazing player. Mahrez slots into the team. Bernardo Silva does. But then you play Sterling the false 9, or you switch it out so you play Bernardo Silva there, because and this is what I mean when you buy players that are versatile, because it's Plan Bs. It's plan. You've got to have a Plan B. If this player's not fit, right, well, we've got to go for this. Like at Chelsea, Frank's obviously got a plan B. If Havertz, say like Ziyech isn't out, so he's having to play Havertz out on the wing. He doesn't. When Ziyech comes back into the team and everything, he's not going to be doing that. Ziyech will be playing on that wing ahead of Havertz, and Havertz will probably play in the middle.
Yeah.
So the problem with Pep is he's overthinking things, and he's trying to think he thinks too far ahead when you're only still in the present.
Totally.
Everything that Pep has achieved is in the past. We talk about people's past and everything. Pep Guardiola, the major trophies that he won was about maybe 10, 12 years ago now. This is a different style. This is different football. 12 years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson was bossing every single competition with Man United. Di Matteo had just won the Champions League for Chelsea.
Yeah.
So, and so all of these things come together. Suddenly, when we think about it, what has Pep really achieved? He's won Carabao Cups and FA Cups. So, and obviously he's won the Premier Leagues. But top managers like Guardiola don't go to clubs to win league titles. They go to win the big trophy, the Champions League.
Yeah.
Because the whole world watches that. They don't just watch maybe the league. They watch the whole, because that is where you find out who is the best in Europe, who is the best out of every top team there. And Pep, for me, 4 years on the trot now, and he's not got past the quarter-final stages.
Exactly.
Quarter-finals, and you get knocked out by teams like Lyon.
He's getting enough support. He's getting enough support, enough backing.
Yeah, he's spent. I don't even know how much money he's spent, and this is what. And I'll just say this point before I move on.
Brian Diaz, what's his name now?
And I'll just say this point just before I move on. Right, Guardiola. People say that he's the best manager in the world. Right? I wouldn't say he is the best manager in the world for one reason only. He's had to use money to get to achieve what he has done. I look at you. But
you can say that about any manager, to be honest.
Klopp at Liverpool has spent 400 million. Yeah, but he's been there nearly 5 years. Guardiola's been there 4 years, and he's spent, I don't even know how much, probably nearly 800 million. He spent like 400 million.
It's not up to a billion.
Yeah, close to £1 billion to achieve that, where Klopp's already done him and won the Champions League while spending 200 million. And Liverpool are in a better position than City.
To be fair to him, to be fair to Pep, I mean, he has won. You can't discount other domestic, titles. Talking about the cups and stuff. Even if you can't just discount all of them and then make up Klopp's single Champions League and single Premier League trophy.
Yeah, but it's in the modern day. It's like the Klopp's just won the trophy.
What do you describe as the modern day?
What do I describe as the modern day? I describe the modern day as like 2, maybe 3 years ago, as in what you've won. Not Pep Guardiola, who's won a Champions League, 10, 12 years ago?
2009 and 11. 2011, that's it.
So 9 years ago. That's a different era then.
But you can't talk about if people start a marathon together, yeah? They start a marathon at the same sport at the same time. You don't just now say, it's just you measure them or you judge them based on the same parameters, right? So if you're talking about just the last 2 years, how about talking about the last 4 years, at least since Pep go to the Premier League, to join club. Talking about just the last 2-3 years, that means you're basically more or less trying to, tilt everything in favor of club. And don't get me wrong, I'm not disputing the fact that you said Pep is not the greatest manager currently or even ever. I agree with you totally, but I'm just trying to, put things in the balance.
The point I'm getting at, I'm not putting it all in favour of Klopp, but I'm saying when Klopp went to Liverpool compared to when Pep went to City, Klopp's taken Liverpool from not even being in Europe to being top of the mountain in Europe. Pep's taken City from winning league titles to quarterfinals of Champions Leagues. Yeah, and winning titles back to back. But so I think Klopp's done a bigger job than Pep with less money, less backing, and it's more about effort, and he's improved what he's got. Like I look at such as Leeds, when Bielsa went to Leeds, for example, Bielsa's not gone in there and bombed out 300 million to get back to the Premier League. He took very low-rated Championship players and made them into Premier League players now, spending no money at all, and he's took them from mid-table in the Championship to. I'm going to say I probably think Leeds might finish top 10 this year for me, with the way that they're playing at the moment under Bielsa and with some of the players that they're still buying now. All they had to do is get a better defence, and they would have probably beat Liverpool for me. If they had some better defenders in there, they would have beat Liverpool that night. Liverpool was shocking defensively, and we talk about Liverpool being obviously the best team in the world. City versus Leeds will determine Pep Guardiola and his whole tenure.
Yep.
Bielsa will beat Pep. Leeds will beat. I'll bet anybody on it. Leeds will beat Manchester City this season.
Wow.
They are playing Man City.
Well, do you want to bet? I'll bet you.
Yeah, their next match is Man City.
Yeah, I'll bet you. Leeds will beat Manchester City. It can be at the Etihad. It can be at Ellen Road. It can be in my backyard. Because
Wow.
I believe it. Leeds will beat Manchester City. It doesn't matter if you've got players from League Two or the National League. You know, it's all about team effort. It's all about unity. Leeds have that. City have it. City have just got money.
Mhm.
Money out on the field. Leeds have got passion. They've got youngsters there. I couldn't think of one youngster in City's team, and that's Phil Foden. I can't think of anybody else.
Okay, Garcia.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But what? So only two players. Leeds, I can think of about
The
4
same
or
Garcia
5.
that's being criticized there.
So, yeah, but like I said, Leeds will beat Manchester City, and I'll come back on here and I'll tell you straight away.
They're playing on Saturday.
Bielsa will do
better
Pep.
go put money on it.
You want to put money on it?
Yeah, I guess.
It's
If I
tough.
lose the money, you refund me.
With that defense, with that Man City defense, I think it's possible. With that defense,
Impossible.
it's possible. With that defense, I'm saying, with that defense, it's very because the way Leeds play against Liverpool, they set trap. Bielsa set a trap for Klopp
To
and
counter
Klopp fell
attack.
into that trap. It fell into that trap, and Pep Guardiola is going to fall into the same trap also. In the way Bielsa set him up against Klopp, Bielsa already told his player, go all out to press Liverpool. Just press them. Don't forget about defending. Keep pressing them. The same way he's going to do for Man City. They are playing this weekend against Man City. He will tell them, press. Keep pressing. Their defense is crap. Press them. It's garbage. Just keep pressing. Once you see your chance, take your chance.
Yes.
Take your chance. Once you
Yes.
see your chance, be clinical. Against Man City, be very clinical. When
That's
you're
what Leicester were. They were clinical, and they played City at their own game. They knew. I think everybody knows the problems that City are defensively.
yeah.
They can score goals. They can turn over a team 8-0 one week, and then they can get done 5-1 the next week. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of a complete team. City is not a complete team. City is, for me, 75% complete, because the goalkeeper can be 25%. The midfield's 25%, so then that's 50. The attack makes 75. The defence is the other 25%, and there's no insurance policy on that defence. Nothing. I'd be asking for the receipts back on some of the players. Honestly, ridiculous. I don't get how you blow out so much money on fullbacks. I don't understand why you spend that much money. Liverpool spent, I can't remember what the fee was on Robertson, and he's now the best, up there with Alphonso Davies as probably the best left back in the world. Trent come from the academy at Liverpool. You know, probably the best right back out there. Maybe up there with such as Kimmich. So suddenly Liverpool have spent no money on such as fullbacks. I can think the only real money that they've spent at the back was the £75 million and the goalkeeper. That's the only real money that they've spent, and they defend a lot better than Liverpool do. So, you know, just for me, you know, City, there needs to be some sort of a change. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a managerial change. It can just be a change of the way they play. Pep, you know, it might be a case of Pep needs to reassess, change the style to suit the modern day, suit the modern game, because everything's changed from say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was you pass the ball and you create chances through the middle. Now it's you've got attacking. You use your fullbacks as attacking and put balls in the box. Get creative that way, as opposed to using the midfield. It's modern day football now. You know, it's attacking football. Back in the day, it was you see Mourinho, you know, win the Premier League, winning 1-0 every week. You know, so it's a case of you've got to keep up with the modern day. And I think about it. If Pep leaves City, he's not going to really walk into another job anywhere else, really. You know, Barca's just appointed Koeman. He wouldn't go to Real Madrid if they sacked Zidane, so you can rule that out.
I think Juve would take him.
Juve would take him, but they've just appointed Pirlo, and I think obviously they're going to give Pirlo some time.
Yeah.
You know, Bayern have just won the Champions League with Hansi Flick, so I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Suddenly, where's he going to go?
What about Chelsea?
What?
Might need a manager.
Can you repeat that?
What about Chelsea?
They've got Kepa. They've got Kepa.
No. If you don't even put Chelsea in the bracket of Pep Guardiola. No. What Pep need now is sabbatical. It is sabbatical of 2 years or 1 year.
You need John Terry. You need John Terry.
No, you need sabbatical.
And Wayne
Sabbatical
Bridge.
of maybe 1 year or 2 years. So now you get it working. Pep. No.
Promote Ashley Cole.
No. So that's the problem with my worry with Pep. It's not about the spending. It's all about when your plan A doesn't work, you gotta have a plan B. You cannot spend too much money on the defense and you're still facing the same problem every season. Now we're having too much excuse. We give Pep, but we banter Osemore's flop. It's garbage. It's this. It's that. But the same excuse we don't give it to Pep. We kind of cover Pep like he's the best manager in the world. We just let it go.
The Premier League easily has the best managers out there in the world in that league. The Premier League has the best league for managers for me. Bielsa's a big name. You know, Klopp, Pep. You know, when Poch was here, he was a big name. You know, you've got Ancelotti in here now. Jose's here. You know, all I'm seeing at Spain is 2 ex-players at ex-clubs. Zidane at Madrid and Koeman, at Barca. Juventus, you've got, for me, just Conte. You know, the Bundesliga. Who would you really say out of there is a big name? I wouldn't put Hansi Flick there yet.
Nagelsmann.
I think he needs Nagelsmann. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I'd possibly put him maybe where such as Hansi Flick is. I won't put Flick there yet because he needs to win a couple more trophies, and then you can put him in that A list of right. He's one of the top managers out there now. I can't think the Premier League is the best managers in the world, easily, hands down, because you've got about 5 or 6 names you could just float straight off.
Wow. So my question to Park now is for under Pep Guardiola now, what is your ambition as a fan? Premier League, Carabao Cup, Champions League, AFL Cup. What exactly do you want to win? Because Pep has won everything. He has already won everything in English football. Just in Europe, he hasn't done anything in Europe. So, as a fan now, are you gonna be?
He hasn't done anything in Europe for about 10 years.
Are you gonna be worried about Pep in Europe at the moment, or is it gonna be like we need to give him time?
By the way, it's 3-1 Liverpool.
Is it? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, first of all, I'm going to say this. Yeah, I feel like Abdullahi, I don't know. It just feels like there's a Pep bone somewhere in your throat. I don't know what it is.
I've been saying
there's a Pep bone that you just can't seem to get rid of. Every single opportunity you have to call out Pep, you take advantage of it. And in my opinion, I'm not saying that's invalid. There are valid concerns, and the same. Sometimes I feel like the English media have somehow overlooked those things, those points. Because I know if it was a manager like Jose Mourinho at this point, they would have said,
"It would have been dead, but it would have
football
been
has left him behind. Football has left him behind. This, that. He's playing negative football. There's not won anything. He's no more, recognizable and stuff. But this is Pep, right? And let's say, for example, Pep was not in Manchester City. Had it been Pep was at Chelsea, And
I
in
think
this
he missed
past 4 years, he has gotten this results he has gotten. He would have been sacked by Roman at this point.
In the second year, he would have been sacked by
He would
Roman.
have been
Second year,
sacked. And
second.
that was the position Mourinho found himself in when he
Yeah.
got sacked. He wasn't given the time as much as Pep and support as much as Pep keeps getting.
Mhm.
You get me?
Yeah.
So it seems like all is well in the camp and all that, but it's down to the level of ambition
Mhm.
that both different clubs have.
Sorry to
As
cut you
the
short.
owners of
Look at
both
the
clubs.
Liverpool goal. I'm talking about the handball route now. The ball touched Jota on his hand, and the goal stood. Look at what I'm saying. I was already talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah. I was just going to mention that. That's where I
Look at
went.
the,
Oh,
look at the goal. It touched him in his hand, and it stood. That is the IFAB
yeah,
goal
but
now.
they didn't look at it at VAR.
They all didn't even look at that. That's what I'm talking about. The
I mean,
IFAB.
is anyone shocked they didn't look at it?
Exactly.
Well,
That is the
yeah,
IFAB
well, yeah.
goal I'm talking.
Anything to do with handball and the ball's gone in the back of the net, and then the game's over now.
Exactly.
You know, Arsenal aren't going to score 2 goals in 2 minutes.
That was what I was talking
Zero
about.
chance.
That the
There's a
IFAB.
chance. Oh, please.
Zero.
Exactly. The IFAB goals I was talking about. If your hand is at your back or position hand, it's gonna stand as a goal. That's the new IFAB goals now. That's what I was talking about. Exactly. So go ahead, offside. Go ahead. Offside. Go ahead. You were talking about something.
Yeah. So basically, I was saying, had it been Pep was at Chelsea, with having not won the Champions League, or even gotten to the semi-final at this point, and he was a Chelsea manager, he would have been sacked. And
Yeah, he would
his
have.
limitations would have been exposed. So he's basically enjoying the privilege that Mourinho did not enjoy while he was at Chelsea, and then he seems to have blinded many people to the fact that this guy is actually underperforming based on the standards and expectations set before him.
Pep is the safest manager in the league. If anybody's going to get sacked last, it's probably going to be Pep. In terms of if the board would sack him at City.
But the problem with Pep is I don't know. For Park now, that's what I'm asking Pep. What is your
Yeah.
ambition, Park? Your ambition as a fans. What's your ambition?
I don't know
Premier
about ambition, but I want to keep Pep at all costs.
You want to keep Pep, but you
would
keep
wanna keep
losing
Pep.
in Europe. This is something else.
But we don't know. Like, he might turn it around. You never know.
I don't think it's gonna talk because it's using the same what's called the same formation week in and week out. How they expect him to turn it around? I don't think it's possible.
He can change his tactics. You never know. Or we could just finally I don't know, maybe get lucky or something. Like get to semi-final. You never know.
I know, but do you still have that confidence in Pep, or just
Yeah, I do. He's still the best manager in the world for me. But obviously, he hasn't had the best past 12 months.
it's tough at the moment. The problem with Pep is the one causing himself failure. Is the one causing his failure himself. It's not even the player because he bought those player himself with his money. He's the one causing his failure himself. So my worry with Pep is you causing yourself your failure because you are doing the same thing week in and week out, week in and week out. No changes. So how do you expect the fans and the board to keep trusting you when you keep making the same mistake?
To get results, that's the most important thing. If we win, then it's not a problem, is it?
I know, but now he's getting results in the EPL. I'm not disputing that. And I keep saying he has won how many trophies in the EPL? 8 and 11 already in English football. I know. But in Europe, he keep failing in Europe. That should be a concern for you as a fans. That should be a concern for you as a fans. You cannot be winning in English football and you're losing in Europe. There's a problem.
I mean,
There's
yeah,
a
you're
big
right. You got a
problem.
point, but yeah.
There's a big problem. So do you think he needs to reassess himself a little bit, or he just need to tweak his formation a little bit just to balance the team, or does he
I
need to
think a
have
bit
a
of
plan
both.
B? Or
I
does he
think
need to have
a
a
bit of
plan B?
both. So probably a plan B as well.
I think my worry with Pep is not about I rate him like I said, but my worry with him is his formation. He overthinks too much and he does things that he doesn't need to do. Like the basic thing that Pep needs to do, he's not doing it, and it's costing him too much result because he's doing basic thing that he doesn't need to do, is doing it, and it's costing him many points he doesn't need to cost. So that's my worry with Pep now, because he needs to do the right thing at the right time, not the wrong thing at the right time. Because if you keep doing the wrong thing at the right time, there's no how Man City body will look at Pep like. I think Pep, it's time you need to go.
I,
Like you
I, I
said,
wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
but like what you said, like I know they cannot sack him, but do you think Pep is gonna walk away if the result doesn't go in his way?
I would say no, but you never know in football, do you?
I never know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know about. I don't know too much about Pep. Maybe he's gonna work, but I don't think Man City will sack him. I do
That's what I'm
not think.
saying. Yeah, also Liverpool won the game 3-1. Congrats to
Yeah,
them.
they already won the game, so it's already clear already. They're already the Premier League champion already. We don't even need to discuss it too much. Like
They're going to win the league this season, aren't they?
yeah, but I think the problem, I think the only thing that can stop them not winning that league is maybe Van Dijk, maybe two of their more important players get injured,
Yeah,
maybe because fatigue is gonna show a lot.
yeah, but that's not going to happen, though, is it?
Yeah, but I think they're gonna win the league. They will. It's
Yeah.
complete already. They'll win the league. They will surely win the league. So let me ask you now: who do you see? Man City, Chelsea, United, Tottenham Hotspur, Everton, and Leicester City. Who do you see challenging Liverpool? Like,
Nobody's going to challenge them.
like what I mean about challenges, like last season, the point gap between first and second was too much. Do you see out of those teams I've mentioned? Do you see any team cutting those gap down, like cutting those gap into like maybe like 5 points, 3 points, 2 points?
I mean, maybe if Leicester like continue this good form, then like they like actually get some consistency, maybe they can challenge. But at the same time, like I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think they get top four.
You mean Leicester City can get top four?
I don't think so. No, I think United too strong. I think Chelsea's too strong. I think Tottenham are coming up as well. So and also look decent side.
But they've won three into three wins already now. So why do you think they won't get top four? Because they already won three matches
Because like
already.
they were even bad position last season. Like still didn't make it. So
Yep,
they
I
need to
know.
prove themselves.
They are butlers. I know they're butlers. I know they bottle a lot. I know. But you're saying they will not finish in fourth? Wow.
I
Wow,
don't
wow,
think so.
wow,
No. What you did? So they could finish with Chelsea.
like I said, we cannot win this league this year. I keep saying, we cannot
No, I'm
win this
saying. I'm
league.
saying. Do you think like Leicester going to be finished with Chelsea?
I don't think Leicester City will finish above Chelsea because Leicester City doesn't have the depth, and also they don't really have that. Brendan Rodgers himself, we need to understand what exactly is his ambition as a manager. Where do you want to finish? Because now they're in Europa League, Chelsea is in Champions League. Fair enough. Lampard can go take that team and play a team that can still win him the match. Can Brendan Rodgers do it? If Jamie Vardy or one of those players gets injured, back to square one. They can't score goals. So that
Yep.
has been their problem last season. Most of the players, the fatigue was too much for them that they cannot even cope. So that's my
True. Yeah.
worry with what's called with Brendan Rodgers. I'm not saying we no. We can easily try it, but like I said, I need all those players to be back fully. Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, all of them fully back. Once they are back, that is when I'm gonna see maybe truly we can challenge Liverpool or we can challenge the top two or top three. If those doesn't happen, then I don't see us. It's gonna be a huge stuff. But I want to see those players come through first. That will give me like confidence of saying yes, we can go far. But at the moment, it's too early to predict. At the moment, it's way too early.
I guess we'll see what happens.
So after you're talking about Pep before you left.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying. Sorry, I got disconnected. My device was misbehaving. I had to
I
restart.
understand.
Um, I had basically said it all regards to the yardstick. The English media uses it
Mhm.
measuring himself and setting Jose Mourinho, and I genuinely feel like um he underperformed at Bayern is the same way he's underperforming now at Man City, and I
Yeah.
thought and I expected him at least to take this opportunity, this pandemic period, this past season's Champions League, seeing that
Yeah.
there was no second leg
Mm-hmm.
in the knockout stages. I expected him to take that opportunity and go on at least to get to the final, at least go further than he has done in recent times. But once again, he fell short. I now do not know what the expectation from his City bosses are. What else you expect from him? If he wins the Premier League, even if he wins the domestic treble or quadruple, it still won't make up for the fact that he has continuously fallen short in the competition. So, left to me, I would say let him go, right? And try to do something different. Shuffle the same, shake things up, and maybe they would win the Champions League.
Wow. But do you think Man City will sack him, or do you think he's gonna walk away?
Absolutely not. They won't sack him. Instead, they will let him run out his contract. Zero chance of City sacking him.
His contract will runs up this year, this season. His contract at Park, am I right or am I wrong?
There's a reason he has not. I guess there's a reason he has not renewed. There has to be a reason. Maybe they're not very sure.
He said if he deserves a contract, he will earn it, and if he doesn't deserve it, he won't earn any contract.
Exactly, that's the point. If he deserves it, so obviously at this point, his City bosses don't think he deserves it, and for him to have said that, he feels he doesn't deserve it. Because ordinarily, why would City have Guardiola, a manager that basically all clubs or most clubs around the world would want to have as theirs, and let his contract run into the last year? Do you understand? It doesn't make sense whatsoever. It doesn't make sense. Leaving him, I think after 6 months, or in the last 6 months, by the turn of the year, he should be open to talking to other clubs. I really don't know.
Out of those top clubs now, who do you see taking Pep? And do you think Pep needs the sabbatical like 1 year or 2 years to recharge himself?
I would think he would need a sabbatical, but he has already gone on one. And after he came back from that one, the results have continued. The same way he performed that in Germany is the same way he's performing now in England, with regards to winning the continental competition. Now, which club would want him? I'm pretty certain Paris, PSG would like to have him.
Thomas Tuchel is doing very well though.
No. I'm not saying he's not doing well. I'm just talking about the big clubs that would want, because sometimes there are certain people that when you sign to your side, it's beyond just the performance. There's also the pool, the attraction, the fan base and all that, and more eyeballs to be attracting to your club. So, and remember, PSG, what they call them, owners are not very far from Man City owners, right? So that's that and that. In Italy, Juve may want to have a dip.
But they have Andrea Pirlo.
Yeah, that's the point. They have him. He's a new manager, especially if he doesn't perform or if he underperforms, right? There is the chance that at the end of this season, going into the next season, we're talking about Juve wanting a new manager as well. Who would they go for? How many top class managers are out there? You get me? So I don't know where else he'll go. I don't imagine he'll go to another club in England.
I think there's a manager I have in my mind in which I think if Man City go for the manager, they can easily win the Champions League because he's a flexible manager who can change system. Yes, he may not play the tiki-taka football in which Man City wants, but I can guarantee Man City something. He has an experience and he knows how to win.
Sam Allardyce has experience as well.
Massimiliano Allegri is the right manager for me for Man City because he has all attributes of a manager. Yes, he may not play the tiki-taka football, but Man City fans want. But this guy will deliver in Europe. He will. He wouldn't spend too much money, but you will see the improvement in that team. That defense will look very solid because that's the Man City's problem. The defense is Guardiola keep playing Highland every time, and he keep playing matches. But when you have Allegri in the team, Allegri will shovel the back. It will make them look better. Look at Juventus complain he plays too many defensive football. Why? But they keep winning. And look at Champions League. He went to the Champions League final. He went there. He has been there before. So I believe Allegri will be the man that will take Man City forward. But can Man City go for Allegri? I doubt it. I'm not sure. They would rather want to go for Pochettino than going for Allegri. And for me, Allegri is the right manager for them. They can take them forward because Allegri has that experience and that winning mentality. It can install that mentality into them. I'm not sure about what Park think about Allegri, but I don't think he's gonna prefer Allegri over Pep. So, Pat, do you
But the thing now is we all know that Manchester City want to continue playing the entertaining football.
yes?
Even though, in my opinion, with Mancini, when they had Mancini in charge and had Pellegrini in charge, their football was very okay by me,
Yeah.
right? It was very, very okay by me. So I don't know if City will be willing to, let go of that flair that comes with Pep Guardiola for the grit that would most likely come with Allegri, at the expense or all for a chance at getting the Champions League. Not even the guarantee of getting the Champions League, because remember, Allegri has not even won the Champions League before. He got to 2 finals and he failed to win any, which is not a very good record.
I know, but there's a manager who has gotten there for 2 years, and there's a manager who hasn't gotten there for 4 consecutive to 5 seasons already.
No,
So there's
I see your reasons. I see your points.
there's a difference. Allegri has been there and he has the experience, and with that experience, he can lead Man City there. But Pep Guardiola has the experience, but he has done it both in Barcelona, but in the last 2-3 years, he hasn't done anything. Even get past the semi-final, he hasn't done it. So
there's even something we're leaving out. We're leaving out the possibility that Guardiola may even go back to Barcelona.
but
He may have a chance of them. Yeah, no, I'm just saying in the long run. I'm not talking about this season. Guardiola still has a job for this season. I'm talking about like maybe at the end of the season when his contract runs out. You just never know. Maybe to appeal to Messi, for example, to remain at the club.
Exactly.
All these things are sides that may be looked at as well.
That's why I'm asking Man City fans now, Park. So do you think Massimiliano Allegri will be the right manager for you guys, or you still want to keep Pep? Because what I'm hearing is Pep is the best manager in the world. Pep is this, Pep is that. I'm not riding on this. I'm not riding on the same boat you guys are riding. I'm not riding on the same boat. I keep saying it. I don't ride on the boat in which everybody are hiding. He's been winning 11 matches, 11 games out of 8 games out of 11. Best manager in the world. He has won the Champions League twice. Yeah, Jose Mourinho has won the Champions League twice. That's no excuse. Alex Ferguson has won the Champions League, so Ancelotti has won the Champions League twice. So it's not only Pep that has won the Champions League twice. So don't come out and bring out one statistics and tell me he's the best manager in the world. He does this. No, that for me, that's an excuse for me. That's an excuse for me. Because for the past 2-3 years or 4 years, you haven't shown anything to us in Europe that will give us that guarantee that yes, you can do it in Europe. You have not shown us. You haven't. So what? Are you gonna be giving me the chance and telling me, okay, this? No, I won't fall into that ship. I'm not going to fall into that ship because you have not shown me yet. Until Pep Guardiola shows me there that he's truly a world-class manager. No. I'm not getting on the boat yet. At the moment, hell no. For me, no for me. No. I don't know what you guys think, but for me, it's a no for me. It's a no. It's a no for me. No for me. So I don't know what I think about it, but for me, it's a fact.
I'd agree.
So do you think Allegri should be the right manager for you guys, or you still want to keep it because you guys can't keep failing in Europe? That for me, that's an excuse. You're gonna come out and tell me he's the best manager in the world. He has won Champions League. He has done this. I can bring out statistics that tell me other managers has won Champions League with the same statistic. Pep have won it. Pep won it in Barcelona. Ancelotti has won the Champions League twice, if not 3 times. So what are you telling me? Jose Mourinho has won it twice. So Alex Ferguson has won it twice. So those 3 managers has won the head of Pep. Jupankes has won Champions League. So what are you telling me? It's not only Pep only. So don't come and excuse and tell me.
Abdullah, nobody is arguing. I mean, I don't imagine anybody, at least definitely not me, arguing about Pep Guardiola. Let me just remind you of one thing. There is a Tottenham Chelsea game. We've not even touched it, and our time is already getting too late.
We'll talk about the Carabao.
Yeah, the time is almost spent almost 2 hours already here.
Okay, so
2 hours already.
As a Chelsea fan, let me ask you now.
Sorry?
Let me ask you now. Carabao Cup, like, okay, when do you want Chelsea to finish this season? Carabao Cup and what position do you want us to finish?
That's still too early, Abdullah. We just played.
Okay, too early. I know. Too early.
Let's talk about the game tomorrow now.
Okay, for tomorrow games now. Hakim Ziyech and Pulisic are out. I know. Lampard already said that it's too early for them to play in. Do you think Lampard is over protecting both of them, or he's just taking his time to gel them into the team? Or you feel
I
okay?
think sorry,
Go ahead, go ahead.
it has anything to do with gelling them into the team, because if he's gelling them into the team, he would obviously be playing them alongside the rest of the team. So I think what he's in is trying to be a little bit more cautious than he was last season. Remember,
Mhm.
last season he was heavily criticized,
Yeah.
and rightly so in my opinion, for rushing certain players back too
Mhm.
early. There was Rudiger, there was Kante, there was
Pulisic.
there was Pulisic, there was Loftus Cheek.
Yeah.
These were supposed to be key players at the time, and inadvertently it's affected the team negatively. So I think what he's trying to do, especially with Pulisic, I was thinking about Pulisic yesterday, and I was wondering if this will continue to be how his future at Chelsea would be. It's frustrating knowing a player that is such very well talented and has the ability to change a whole game and influence a whole season greatly, always being on the doctor's table. In the case of Hakim Ziyech, I don't think he's that much prone to injury. I think this was just, you know, a one-off. And of course, with Lampard and Chelsea trying to be extremely careful,
Yeah.
I feel like it's better. It's a new league. Let them just give him time to fully recover. And it's only fair on Lampard to say, yeah, I understand where Lampard is coming from. You know, it won't be nice when you rush them back and then you see the injury, recurring or something recurring. So fair
So
play. They should take
you're,
their time.
you're,
I
you're,
just hope by this weekend they'll be ready though.
yeah, Lampard said in his press conference this week that today that and Kevin Ziyech and Pulisic are not ready. They're on the verge. He said they're on the verge of fully recovering, but not yet for the Carabao Cup. So my my thinking is maybe in the weekend match they could be on the bench, or after the international break we'll see them play. That is my thinking about it. Maybe
You,
in the weekend it may be on the bench. Who knows?
you know
Maybe.
why I do not want them to be left to the international break, because it will be so painful and difficult to watch when after resting these players all this while they've not played for Chelsea, and then international break they then jet off to join their national teams, and then they go
Lampard said
there
none of
and
them is
play.
going. He said none of them is going to. None of them, both Ziyech and
Lampard already said that.
yeah, he said it in his point that he's not allowing Pulisic and then like Ziyech to go.
Oh well,
In
but he doesn't
the,
have the right to. FIFA allow. I don't think he not. I don't think he does not have the right to say that he would not allow.
but there's a conversation in between the club and the country that if a player is not that fully fit, you can't just call him to the national team.
It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. That may now be the reason. Because of that, he may now
Mhm.
choose not to play them before the international break to avoid,
Any
them being in
injury,
a position. No, no, no. To avoid giving the international teams reasons for the players to travel. So
yeah.
instead, you leave them out for one more game.
Mhm.
After tomorrow, leave them out for one more game, so that at least you use that as an excuse that the
Yeah,
players are not fit. Because if they play any game between now and the international break,
they
they
will call them
must go for the
for national
national
team.
duty.
Exactly. So what are you expecting tomorrow as a fans?
Wow, honestly, I don't know when Harry Kane will join the side or will join Tottenham,
Oh,
the lineup.
Gareth Bale.
But one thing, Son. I think Son is out. I don't think he'll be
Son is
available
out.
to
Yeah,
watch.
Son is
Yeah.
out with an hamstring injury.
And with Harry Kane, I'm not with this Chelsea side. I'm not even sure what to expect. Honestly,
Is Harry Kane injured?
no, no, no. He's not.
So
I'm
Jose
just saying with
Mourinho
this
said
Chelsea
in his
side.
he said in his press conference that it's not gonna that tomorrow's match is not gonna put his mind into it. That the Thursday match is gonna be the one he's gonna put his mind into.
The Thursday match. What
Yeah,
Thursday match?
the Europa League match. They're playing on the Europa League.
Oh, so they play on Tuesday and play on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness, that's a mess. Oh
Yeah.
well.
So
Which makes things better for them, because the last round of FA Cup,
mhm.
It was a walkover.
Yeah,
You remember, for Tottenham, it was a
they
walkover
didn't
because
play.
their
Yeah, it was a
opponents.
walkover.
Yeah. So they rested, their players. So I
Mhm.
don't imagine they should be overburdened.
So what's the expectation for tomorrow's match?
Hmm. My expectation for tomorrow's match for Lampard, first of all, Lampard's lineup, I expect him to field all the Barclays, the players that have not been playing. Rudiger, that's if you won't believe in.
There's a news
So,
about Rudiger leaving. Rudiger, Alonso leaving, and Jorginho. Those three, there's a rumor of them leaving.
mm.
Those
Anyway,
three
so I
players.
expect those or some of those players to start tomorrow's game,
Mm-hmm.
and alongside Hudson Odoi,
Mm-hmm.
Havertz. I expect Havertz to be rested. Barkley to start. Jorginho. I basically expect Lampard to field, like the second 11 based on what we have currently fit and available. And
Okay.
then Mourinho, of course, is a cup competition. You see an opportunity to win. Harry Kane, I expect him to start the game because Mourinho would always want to win every competition.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be a tough one. It'll be a tough game, but
What
it
of
depends who would win.
what of United versus Brighton? Remember they play Brighton also. So
No, United will win it with a penalty.
with the penalty.
They're
We
probably
already
gonna
know
win.
that one. They'll give them a penalty, even if it's after full time.
Carabao
Even
Cup.
if it's after they've entered the box, the team box, they'll call them back and give them a penalty.
I don't know what to say about United. They are United and VR is something else entirely. Them and VR is something else entirely. Something else entirely.
It's a match made in heaven.
It's possible they may give them though. You never know. It's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's possible. They might give them though.
Did any of you guys see the tweet from Sevilla?
What they say?
Sevilla's official Twitter handle.
About what is that?
English Twitter handle. They tweeted at the Premier League asking the Premier League can give them can give La Liga some of the penalties. Can give La Liga some of the penalties, that they awarded the Premier League.
Wow.
It was very funny. That's the kind of shade you get.
Wow.
Going by the number of penalties that they've given so far this season.
Wow. I think in 21 matches or 22 matches, they've given, I think, 20 penalties already.
That's a lot.
Wow. Wow.
Very
That's way too
contentious
much.
penalties as well.
Way too much penalties. Wow. Way too much. So can we guys just agree that Liverpool has already won the league? No disagreement.
100%.
Abdullahi, how can we agree? It's still too early now. Let's not make it. At least personally, I wouldn't want to commit to that.
3 wins out of 3.
I remember how they started 3 seasons ago or 4 seasons ago. 3 seasons ago, they were way ahead, and somehow Manchester City came and overtook them.
Mm-hmm. Same with last year, they were way ahead. They always stumbled around January, February. But they are well. So you are not 100% yet convinced that they will win the EPL. Hmm? So you are not yet convinced that they're gonna win the EPL, right?
Yeah, you're right.
It's too early.
I guess we'll see, but because are they gonna drop any points? They're not gonna drop any points, right? So how's it gonna work?
But I would be very surprised if they drop too many points because people already give them the accolade of them winning the league and everything. Now they're gonna drop a point. Then what does it tell you being a champion? It doesn't tell good on them. For me,
Exactly.
it doesn't tell good for me for them. It doesn't. So guys, I think this is already the end of the show, guys.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, for people coming in, really appreciate it for guys for the tuning up. I should have come in on Saturday, but I've got a lot of stuff to do, so I wasn't able to show up. And also thank for the guys for the watch along. The Liverpool match was a good matches to watch.
Yeah, it was really fun to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, all right. It was a good match to watch. Also, I kind of enjoyed the matches and everything, guys. So guys, I think the next one would be on the Saturday match between Chelsea stuff. They probably will play early. So that should
Wait, are you gonna do Tottenham Chelsea tomorrow or not?
I'm thinking about it or not. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I will do it or not because I don't want to do too much about the Carabao Cup. Blah blah.
No problem. Yeah, I understand.
Nah, not really that big. If it is like the FA Cup, the Champions League, I'll call it. Let's say they'll do that. But the Carabao Cup, not really. But I think on Saturday I'm gonna go because we play early. So we play early.
Off, yeah.
We play early on Saturday. So I could probably
it's against Palace, right?
against Palace, we play early morning. So after the match, I could just maybe watch along or just after the match we debate about the match. So, but possibly on Saturday, probably coming guys. So for people who come in, really appreciate you guys for coming in tonight, guys. So see you guys for the next Premier League matches. See you guys.
All right. Also, Abdullah, yeah, make sure to meet me on Discord like right after this.
No worries, bro. No worries.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the good time.
No worries.
All right. See ya.
Mhm.